Well, late Thursday, a Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals judge issued a stay on the state's preliminary injunction, preventing the state from enforcing the gun and magazine ban that was enacted January 10th. So essentially, the stay on that injunction puts the law back in place while the case continues. How is this impacting gun owners? Well, you can't buy guns anymore. How's it impacting gun stores? Well, we find out now as we talk with Nicole Guvenoz from GAT Guns. Nicole, thanks for taking time with us this morning. And first, I want to get your initial reaction to the stay on that preliminary injunction. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having us on, Greg. So obviously, it was it turned off just like a faucet. So it turned on Friday like a rushing hose, and then it turned off like a faucet yesterday. So it was a huge reaction, just like it was on Friday, getting everything back in order, notifying our customers, notifying, the staff, letting everybody know we were back to where we were last Friday before 4 p.m.
So when it comes to the 6 days you guys had that preliminary injunction in place, what was business like? Explain that in a way to kind of how many guns were sold, how many customers you had come through your doors at GAT Guns.
Okay, so we are a very high volume firearm dealer. So we normally, run a pretty big business, even with the ban. We were still, pretty busy. This was another level back to, say, COVID times where we had lines out the door, down the block, hundreds and hundreds of people. Firearms, I don't have a count yet. I would say probably close to, by the time they're disposed, it's probably about 500-600, maybe more.
Obviously, magazines included in that. I take it people were buying magazines as well.
Oh, yes. Yes. And magazines were going out the door in bulk.
So something I've seen on social media, people reacting to this is that, they may have started a sale, say, Wednesday afternoon. And of course, there's a holding period that gun owners and gun buyers need to go through in order to obtain and gain possession of that firearm. How does that work now if, say, they were in your store early yesterday? And when I talked to you early yesterday, I heard phones ringing off the hook in the background. I heard a buzz of activity in the background. You guys were obviously busy at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I talked to you. And then literally like an hour later, all that was essentially switched off. So what happens to those gun buyers who may have been in your store and made a purchase Thursday morning? Are they able to complete that purchase?
So as of right now, we are not sure about how to proceed with that. In January, when the gun ban hit, the state made an allotment for that where anybody who had a background check in place, they were able to complete their transaction. We are seeking legal counsel on whether we can complete these transactions or not, and we have not heard a final decision on that.
We're talking with Nicole Guvenoz with GAT Guns. She is in the compliance department there, a large volume gun dealer. In the past 6 days before the stay on that preliminary injunction being put in place, seeing a large number of sales. So where do you see this heading, and how long do you think it's going to be before there could be some possible relief in being able to sell certain types of firearms to the general public?
Obviously, we kind of have the same knowledge that everybody else does. We're gauging it. We're also watching very closely the case that's going on in Naperville. That firearm dealer is currently in front of Amy Coney Barrett at the United States Supreme Court. We believe that she will set precedence with whatever way she comes down on that. Naperville has until Monday to provide additional information that the justice requested. And we would, because it is an emergency, we would anticipate a ruling from her pretty quickly. And then obviously this case will be, I would assume, on the same desk very quickly.
Well, and one thing about that Naperville case is it's not just about Naperville. It also challenges the state's gun ban as well, where, on Wednesday we're thinking, oh, well, the Amy Coney Barrett is just going to deal with the Naperville ban. But now that there's a stay in place, it's very possible she could deal with not just the Naperville ban, but also the state's ban. So a lot of anticipation to see what happens there. But ultimately, you've got gun dealers and gun buyers in a state of limbo again after it was turned on and then turned off and then turned on again. What message do you have to the likes of Governor J.B. Pritzker, Attorney General Kwame Raoul, State Representative Bob Morgan, who call AR-15s weapons of war, who seem to cast aspersions on gun owners who may own these types of firearms, and saying that these firearms are only meant to kill people in large numbers? What's your response in your statement to those individuals?
So I would challenge them or anyone else who has those opinions on these particular types of firearms to educate themselves. I would challenge them to come to a place like GAT Guns and be educated by our highly trained instructors, our tactical instructors, people who actually know about these firearms, know the people who use them, know what they actually use them for. I would challenge them to actually educate themselves rather than using it as a political message.
Now, a lot of people, of course, may characterize a gun owner as, somebody who lives in a rural area, who has a big pickup truck and, certain types of bumper stickers and whatnot. Talk about your clientele. Is it just men, or are you seeing an increased number of women in that past 6 days?
So we've seen an increased number of women in general buying firearms since COVID. COVID created a different type of stir in this country in general. People wanting to protect themselves, people wanting to train themselves, people wanting to be able to feel safe. So there's been a huge, in the whole industry, an uptick in women purchasing firearms, getting trained, whether it's on rifles or pistols or whatever it is, women getting trained. People have a huge misconception, like you said, about who buys firearms. If somebody were to come and spend a day or a weekend day at GAT Guns, they would see people who buy firearms. It is every race, it is every ethnicity, it is men and women, it's everyone who buys firearms. And these people, they're legally able to do so. They went through the process to get their FOID card or to get their concealed carry. They went through the process to be able to legally purchase these firearms. And they're not just Republicans, they're not just Democrats, they're everyone who wants to protect themselves and exercise their Second Amendment rights.
Again, we're talking with Nicole Guvenoz from GAT Guns out of East Dundee, a large volume gun dealer. And after the preliminary injunction had a stay issued late Thursday, have you heard anything from Illinois State Police on enforcement?
So we've never heard anything from them. We didn't hear anything from them in January, and we still have never heard anything from them. I'm sure their hands are full. I'm sure their hands are tied. They have a difficult job to do daily. Just FOID cards alone present their own set of problems for them. And with trying to deal with this situation and have a place where people can, quote, register their guns and all that, their hands are full. And they've got all kinds of other things going on with FOIDs and FOID revocations and all that. Their jobs are tough for sure.
Well, we'll definitely keep a close eye on this and maybe touch back base with you in the near future. Nicole Guvenoz from GAT Guns, greatly appreciate you taking the time with us today. Be safe, and we'll talk again soon, all right?
I appreciate you reaching out to us. Thank you so much.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, now at 8:20.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.